When you're getting back out there in the dating world, or you've been dating, whether you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, it's not easy because you're always torn. In this episode of True Love Knots Dating and Children with Maria Romano.
It is Monday night with Maria, and I'm so excited to be here tonight. I had to do a wedding ceremony in the Grand Canyon, which, is always great. I am one of the officiants for Maverick Helicopters, and it's a great gig. And I tell you, I love officiating, but that's a whole other thing. Monday night, May 24th, 2021. I was going to talk about Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. But you know what? I thought of something else that I really need to address, I think, when you're getting back out there in the dating world or you've been dating, is let's talk about children, okay? Whether you're in your 50s and 60s and 70s and you're dating and you have children that are grown, or maybe you still have children at home. And it's not easy, because you're always torn. Now, let's just take a moment, a scenario. Okay, so let's just assume for a moment that you are a single woman and you're looking to meet somebody and you still have kids living at home. And you meet somebody that doesn't have kids. So this is for people that have kids and people that don't have kids, because this is important to hear. As we get a little older in life, as we know, we're going to have more experiences. And some of us are going to be married once, twice, three times. And we have children. We have children that we've had maybe early on, maybe later on in life. And children are not going to go away. Children are a very, very important part, of your life, your relationship, especially when you're single. Okay, your children should come first, especially if they're living at home. But that's not to say that you shouldn't date, but you want to date in a way that is going to be the best way for you and your family, because you need to bring your children into account. They don't need to meet everybody you're dating, but if there's somebody that you're serious with, somebody that you're intimate with, and you're going to bring them into your world, it's important that you get to know that other person, especially if they don't have kids. I'm going to share with you a story. When I got married to my husband, Frank, we were married 33 years. He passed away. I became a step parent. I was 23 when I married Frank. And what's interesting, I'll never forget, my father said to me, he said, your husband's a nice guy, but I want to tell you something, Maria. He has children, and that's very difficult. And I looked at him, I said, what do you mean by that? He said, you'll see. And he was so right, because my dad and mom divorced and he married somebody else and she had kids, he had kids. And you know what? It wasn't easy. And as a stepchild growing up, I have to tell you something. When you're blending two families, it's hard. And there is favoritism. Don't let any one kid you. There is favoritism. But also there's the other side to that. When you're watching someone else's children, you're overseeing them, you have a tendency of being more cautious and you can't help it. So that was something that I learned early on, that, in order to be a good step parent, you just need to make sure that you and your partner, even if you're just dating, that you understand each other. And that's important, because whomever you're dating, especially if they don't have children, or maybe their children are grown and out of the house, they need to understand that if your children are at home, they are your first responsibility. And that's important, that you make them feel that they are the first responsibility, because children are fragile. They're fragile. And what happens to them is they think that you're casting them aside for someone else. So you want to make sure you're always reassuring your children that you love them and that they're very important and they come first. Now, and that's important. And when you date somebody, you want to make sure whoever you bring into your life, even when you're just dating them, that there's somebody that you want your children to be around, because they also can influence your children and you want them to be a good role model. So when you get out in the dating world and you have children, you want to make sure you're meeting somebody that's going to be a good role model and patient. So that's the first. But now let's move it to, let's say if you're dating somebody and you both have kids out of the house, they're older. Don't think for 1 minute that it's easier, because it's not easier. I have seen it. I have been out in the dating world. I have dated men with children that are older. And let me tell you, sometimes it doesn't get any better. And the reason is there are some children that feel, oh my gosh, my mom or dad is going to meet somebody, and there goes part of my inheritance. I know, you know what? It sounds shallow, but it is so true. So you need to handle your children again with kid gloves, but firmly. You're entitled to your own life. And whoever you bring into your life, you want to make sure they're going to blend with your family, because you don't want to be alienated. You don't want your family to feel, oh, I don't want to be around mom and dad. I just don't like their boyfriend or girlfriend. You don't want that. You want to make sure you bring whoever into your life that's going to blend, that they like being around family. That's the first. And then you need to reassure your children that whoever you're bringing into your life, that person's enhancing your world. Okay, they're not going to take the place of your children, but they're certainly not going to be able to give you what you need in a relationship. And that's the first thing. And then if they're concerned about if you have assets, that's where when you meet somebody, you sit down, and if you're going to move to another phase in the relationship, you have the conversation. That's right, the conversation about how you're going to handle money. Or let's say you meet somebody, you're going to move in together. Maybe you're going to give up your home, and you're going to move into the other partner's home. So what happens? Even if you're not getting married, I'm going to recommend that you have a contract drawn up. God forbid something happens. You don't want to be put out on the street right away. But you need to make sure there's some sort of legal contract drawn up that both of you sign. Okay, so if you do get into a relationship, I don't mean jump, but if you get into a relationship with somebody and you both have assets, or one of you has more assets, just protect yourself. And you're protecting the other person as well. So it's not like you're just protecting yourself for your family. You're also protecting the person that you're bringing into your life, because you want to make them a part of your life. So when it comes to dating with children, please don't think for 1 minute that you need to say, hey, it's my life and my children have to accept who I'm with. No. You need to be prudent about it. You need to think rationally. And this is what I'll tell you. You need to think from the waist up and not the waist down. When you are looking for somebody, and this is what I tell every client, write down the must-haves. And if you have family members that are blended into your life, right, you want to make sure that that person is going to blend into your life. You know, I went out with somebody, a really nice guy, not too long ago. And we had a conversation, only moved into the second date. And he said something about interracial relationships. He just felt it wasn't right. Well, guess what? I just looked at him. I digested it. I didn't say a word. And then when he reached out to me again, I just sent him a nice note. And I said, you know what? I think you're a great guy. I just don't think you're a fit for me. Had he done a little research, he would have found out that my daughter is married. She's in an interracial relationship. Her boyfriend she met in high school. Yes, he's Black, she's white. We have beautiful grandkids. So, think about, you want to be able to bring somebody that's going to blend into your world. And for me, that didn't work. And there were many people just like me, where maybe it's religion for you. Maybe it's politics. Although I think politics, you're not going to go to bed with politics. There's always going to be different politicians. So maybe that's something you can sort of be a little less resistant, but maybe when it comes to religion, culture, things like that you want to think about. So if you're going into meeting somebody with or without children, if you're a person without children, remember to be mindful, because things do come up when children right now need, especially if they have a single parent, and they need to know that their parent is there for them. And that's important. You don't want them to feel insecure. And as a boyfriend or a girlfriend in the relationship, if you don't have children and you're dating someone with children, you don't want to make that child feel that way, or children. So be mindful of that as well. And if you are dating someone and both of you are older and you have kids that are out of the house, but also sit them down and tell them when you're getting ready to maybe bring somebody into your world, you're moving into the next phase. Tell them a little bit about that person, share with them why they're important, and ask them to please embrace them. The same way you maybe embraced their partner, and maybe you didn't like their partner for a while, but you still have to embrace them. But don't stop yourself from dating, and especially if you have children at home. You are entitled to have a healthy, happy life, and whoever you bring into your world can also enhance your children's life, no matter what age they are. It just takes a little time getting people to accept one another. And once you move along and as the relationship progresses, you'd be surprised how children come around. You know, when I got married to my late husband, Frank, and I told you he had children, I was a stepmom at an early age. And now my stepchildren are close to me. Okay. And their dad's been gone 8 years, almost 9. And I was in his life for 33 years. I was in their life for 40 plus years now, and they consider me a member of the family. So eventually things do grow. You just need to be open. And you need to accept that other people have had relationships and they have children the same way you might have children. So this is just food for thought. Next week, maybe we'll talk about Ben and Jennifer, and who knows, maybe not, there'll be something else. But in the meantime, if you need any dating assistance, remember Maria@trueloveknots.com. Okay, or if you're looking to do something in your life and you maybe want to add to your income, also look me up. I have an officiating course. Imagine marrying people. It is such a fun gig. So I do teach people how to do that. Plus, I'm an officiant. That's how I got started in the love business. I guess I'm known as the Minister of Love. So check out my website, Maria@trueloveknots.com. It's KNOTS on the knots. In the meantime, we're getting closer to getting back to whatever our new normal is. This is so exciting. And a lot of you are starting to travel, getting out there, dating again. I wish you well. Make great choices. But continue to stay healthy, stay safe, and always spread love. Good night, good night, good night, everyone.